Hey, Wemmug World Entertainment, and of course the RoboCop series at Amazon. We haven't heard anything much about it for quite a while, and it was starting to look like they were maybe not going to do anything with it. That apparently they were hitting snags and it just seemed like it was dead in the water. And then this comes out, RoboCop series at Amazon finally moving forward with a series order. So they're not doing the possibly smart thing of, hey, let's just do a pilot and see how that goes. They've ordered the thing to a season. So let's take a look at this, because look, it could work. It absolutely could work. There used to actually be a RoboCop TV series. For those of you who remember, what did you think of it? I enjoyed it. It's where a lot of the action figures and toys for RoboCop came from. It wasn't actually from the movie, it's from that show. But there's ways you can do it that it absolutely can work. What you have to do is capture what the original look and feel was. Now, I don't know, and I don't know if it'll be in this article, because I actually haven't looked at the article yet, as to whether or not this thing will be an R-rated series. So if it's an R-rated series, obviously you can go balls to the wall and make it like the movie. Otherwise, you're going to kind of play it safe, but either way, there's ways you can do it that it can absolutely work. But if you start injecting what most modern crap in Hollywood today would inject, yeah, the thing may as well be dead on arrival. And what Amazon, they're one of those companies that you can't quite wrap your head around, because it's the case of, you gave us horrendous crap like Rings of Power and The Wheel of Time, and yet at the same time you gave us stuff like Reacher and the Thermal List and stuff. It's so bizarre. So the question is, where would this fall? Let's find out. So it's saying Amazon's RoboCop series is finally moving forward. A new report from The Ankler says Amazon MGM Studios has greenlit the long-developing reboot, which means the project has now advanced beyond development stage we first learned about back in 2024. Now, I did a video when they announced this thing. I don't remember being that long ago. God damn. By the way, there's a video you can find of Peter Weller talking about this. So obviously, he has absolutely zero intention of ever coming back to RoboCop. But even he was saying if they do it right, it can work. And there's absolutely a place for RoboCop. So even he's given them somewhat of a thumbs up. But okay, so previously, Deadline reported that Peter Oko, I have no idea how you pronounce that name, had come on board as writer, executive producer and showrunner, with James Wan also attached as an executive producer through Atomic Monster. I knew James Wan was attached for, since this thing was announced. I can't remember whether that other guy was. At the time, the project was still being developed. Now it looks like Amazon is officially pushing ahead. This is the biggest update yet for the RoboCop TV series. When the project was first announced, the setup sounded familiar to fans of the original movie. The series follows a giant tech conglomerate working with local police to roll out a high-tech enforcer to fight rising crime. A police officer who is part man, part machine. That premise sticks close to the core idea behind the original 87 film, which remains the version most fans still care about. Yeah, and if you ever saw that reboot movie they did with Joel Kinnaman and stuff, oh boy, did that suck. Absolutely. One of the biggest issues I had with that movie was the fact that they were like, yeah, let's make it PG-13. And it was like, why? Why would you do that? And yeah, it just was god-awful. The second RoboCop movie wasn't great. It's pretty dog shit as well, but you do get some great robot thingies in it. The third movie was just a setup for the TV show. That's literally all it was. It was purely designed to sell toys, and it didn't even work to do that, but the show did, the original TV show. So with a series order now reportedly in place for Amazon's new head of TV, RoboCop appears to be one of the priorities Amazon MGM is actively betting on as it continues digging through its library of legacy franchises. RoboCop started with Peter Van Hoven's 1987 movie starring Peter Weller as Alex Murphy, a Detroit police officer who was killed in the line of duty and turned into a cyborg law enforcer by Omni Consumer Products. Set in a violent, dystopian future, the franchise mixes sci-fi action with corporate satire as Murphy struggles to hold onto his humanity while serving a system controlled by a powerful company. The original film launched 2 sequels, a 1994 live-action TV series, animated shows, comic books, and video games. A 2014 reboot updated the story for modern audiences but received a mixed response compared to the original. So more recently, the RoboCop Rogue City video game brought renewed interest to the franchise by returning to the tone and continuity of the classic films, which of course they also brought Peter Weller back to do the voice. The DLC did not land as well though, especially when people found out half the game you randomly for some reason stop playing as RoboCop and play as a black girl in her apartment feeding her cats. That's not bullshit if you didn't know that. That's actually what happens in the DLC. The game, you stop playing as RoboCop, you start playing as a black girl in her apartment and you're to feed her cats. People were like, what the hell is going on? So there's no indication as of yet from any of these stories as to whether this version of RoboCop will be Alex Murphy. Like, are they going the full reboot end of things, or is it going to be maybe connected to the original movies? And like, that's one way you can get away with changing the look of RoboCop, even though you don't want to change the look. Realistically, why would you want to change the very thing that makes the character who and what the character is? That was another issue that happened with that reboot movie. But if they're saying, look, it's 2026 or 2027 by the time this thing probably actually comes out, they can say our old first class model Alex Murphy, you know, you moved on for so long, blah blah blah, but we need to update the systems, and you do it that way. You could still have the suit look the same, just you can add things to it, I suppose. I'm interested to see what they do with it. I'm also, of course, very concerned, being that it's Amazon, and as I said at the start of the video, you just don't know what you're going to get with Amazon. This idea of, well, they gave us these great things, but at the same time, they gave us this absolute dog shit over here. Where would this fit in? And again, is it going to be an R-rated series? Is it going to be a PG-13 series? What way are they doing it? We don't know that either. James Wan being on board, you would assume then it may lean into the R-rated stuff. And being on a streamer, obviously they can do that, but we also don't know how many episodes they're actually looking to do. Amazon typically go for about 8 to 10 episodes, so I would assume same thing with this. Time will tell. You know, from everything we're seeing, they're moving forward. They've greenlit it for a season, yet the one key element is missing. That's who is playing RoboCop. You notice we haven't spoken about that because no names have been floated about as to who is going to be the man behind the machine. So that will be important as well. You can't just get anybody. I think you need someone who really kind of can embody RoboCop. And like the Joel Kinnaman version was still very much human. He knew he was human immediately, where the likes of Peter Weller's version of Alex Murphy, of course, was full machine basically until he started getting the memories back. But what direction would they go in with that? That will be important, I think, as well. So what do you guys think anyway? Do you think this is a good move for Amazon? Do you think Amazon can deliver? Should we be concerned? And who would you choose to play this version of RoboCop? Let me know what you think about all of this. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.